Hello everyone, as we jump right into game number 2 here. Game 2 taking place on Twisted Meadows. We have WFZ spawning as the blue undead at what I'll call the 1 o'clock position. Meanwhile, we have Th000 spawning as the purple human, speed building the Altar of Kings, looking to get some early creeping going on. Now, game 1 went pretty well for Th000. Not exactly sure how he was able to execute that game plan, even though it was such a small map, and he was able to disrupt the fact that the Death Knight could have perhaps come in with ghouls to try and shut down that base. But by being able to get up that expansion and keep it going, and also using mercenaries, he was able excuse me, sounds like I'm coming down with something. He was able to execute that game plan pretty flawlessly. Now, what are we going to follow up here with? We do see that there is a barracks here, most likely a farm, and another peasant will be starting to build that barracks. I believe that's the build order. Nope, I guess not. Just another peasant continuing that construction there, as we are now looking for the Archmage. Should be coming out sometime around the 1 minute 45 mark. Speed building that Altar of Kings does make you slightly faster. Meanwhile, the Death Knight is even more delayed, as you can see that the Death Knight will not be popping out until about, I believe, the 2 minute 10 second mark, giving plenty of time for this Archmage to go about creeping. Double peasants now building that barracks. We should be getting perhaps 6 to 7 peasants calling to arms. And there you go. Where is that Archmage? Archmage should be dropping a water elemental right now. There it goes. And now moving into the rock golem creep camp. All right, water elemental should be leading the way. There are the militia right behind it. And here you go. There is the engagement. There is the attack. And a quick ensnare onto a militia, as this should get taken down rather quickly. All right, very low hit point peasant taking a lot of damage. Looks like it will be able to back off just in time. There's a quick ensnare again. And unfortunately, yes, that does give the +2, gives a little bit more damage. But because of the ensnare, the trappers are not going to focus down onto it at all. Archmage picks up Scourge Bone Chimes, a rather nice item for those peasants and those militia to regenerate some hit points. All right, there it goes as well. Archmage, Footman, now wandering all the way back. Meanwhile, the Death Knight has come in, and the Death Knight will realize that it is a day late and $1 short here, coming in to wrap things up. All right, the Death Knight now looking to come in here. Looks like the peasants are all in position, and they are just going to get destroyed here if they are not careful. All right, one very low hit point peasant. It looks like it will be able to sneak through. Once again, the Death Knight now looking to pick up a Rada Necromancy charge from the skeletons down over here. Here you go. And the Death Knight could be trying to make a bit of a play. Back inside the base here, you can see that the scout towers doesn't really have much going on. Meanwhile, the Death Knight is still trying to keep track of where his opponent is. If he can figure out where his opponent is, he'll know whether or not his opponent is trying to even clear a creep camp with a gold mine at it. So far, though, the Footman and the Archmage just hanging back together, sitting over here next to this town hall and waiting. All right, waiting game's not really very strong here in Warcraft 3. You generally always want to be moving, always trying to take advantage. Anytime you are not taking advantage of the time that is passing, your opponent could be taking that advantage and getting himself slightly ahead. All right, you can see a skeletal minion taking a little bit of damage. He is now trying to back off here, down to 55 hit points already. I don't see militia being brought over, though. So, never mind, I spoke too soon. Militia now finally being called over, as the Death Knight is now running around to try and perhaps lead the charge. There is a couple of militia down over here. You can see that the militia are now wandering back down, and the Death Knight looking to get some damage onto those units here. As we can see, the gold creep camp is already being crept out. All right, this could be very bad news again. Can WFZ actually disrupt it? That is the key question. All right, skeletal minions are now coming over. You can see that the militia are now pushing back against the Death Knight. Death Knight still sitting at level 1. Death Knight does get a long distance kill there and does get a little bit of experience, as the Footmen are still trying to disrupt the attack here. Militia should be coming to an end here any moment now. There's a death coil, unable to get that last kill though, or get the kill though, as the Archmage now currently sitting at level 2. peasants now trying to run back around. Let's take a look at it. The footman could perhaps chase after that Crypt Fiend. As are we going to get defend? There's a death coil as that Crypt Fiend now tries to sneak away once again. Peasants are falling to the blades of the skeletal minions. You can see also the Crypt Fiend joining in to get in a little bit of extra damage here, as this one low hit point peasant down to 58 hit points looks like he will be able to survive. Oh, the peasant turns around and just fights back, gets the kill there. Meanwhile, down over here, Archmage looking to finish off the Ogre Magi. Skeletal minions are in position. Death Knight still sitting at level 1, going straight after that Archmage. Archmage could be in a bit of trouble, as he's now trying to focus down this Ogre Magi. All right, Water Elemental has been dropped. Ogre Magi just beating away at all of these footmen. The footmen will get taken, or the footmen will finish off that kill there, as we see Claws of Attack +9, and now Peasants looking to secure that expansion. Crypt Fiends are now backing off here. We are going into Slaughterhouse. We are already at Halls of the Dead and trading up that Lich. Are we going to perhaps get to Black Citadel this time around? No Black Citadel meant that we were not going to have any destroyers, and without destroyers, it is very difficult to try and take down a massive footman heavy army. Yes, there were eventually griffins in there as well. The destroyers would not have done any work against them, but with the help of Crypt Fiends, the Crypt Fiends could have webbed down those units. All right, here you go. It looks as though we are going to be focus firing down one peasant at a time. There goes one peasant already. Are we going to perhaps go after another one? Yes, it looks like another one is going to get taken down here, as the Archmage does use a Wand of Teleportation to get into position, dropping in that water elemental. Let's take a look at this. Footmen are now coming in from the north, and now we are just trying to get more damage. Again, another peasant gets taken down. Skeletal minion does fall. Archmage is sitting at level 3. Death Knight still sitting at level 1. And will it be able to escape? It looks like it will be able to do exactly that. The Crypt Fiends have to be rather careful, though. They are rather slow, and the Death Knight is still nowhere to be found. All right, the Death Knight, the movement speed is just average. The Footmen should be average as well, but it just feels like they're a slightly faster. All right, there is a beautiful Frost Nova there, as all of the Footmen are now trying to run back. There now defend being used on the other side, as the footmen are still trying to catch up again. All of the Crypt Fiends have to do is perhaps stop and turn around for one quick blow onto all of these footmen, and then the footmen all of a sudden find themselves in a little bit of hurt. You can see that the footmen are just getting kited all game right now, and the Death Knight is just in position to try to get some easy damage onto those units there. All right, it looks as though the footmen down to 100 some odd hit points, 120, is able to back off here. Death Knight, now with the help of an obsidian statue, should be able to stick around and stay alive for quite some time now, as the obsidian statue is not going to be only healing, but replenishing the mana on that Death Knight. The Death Knight now looking for an engagement, looking for a bit of a favorable fight here, and it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do exactly that. Very low hit points on that one particular footman. That footman already down to 94 hit points there. Is he going to be able to finish it off? There's a water elemental now coming in, as the skeletal minions are coming in as well. This is the perfect time to strike here. WFZ does not have any towers to really worry about, as the footmen are now coming back around once more. All right, Crypt Fiends going after the peasants. The peasants going to get taken down. There they go. The footmen trying to give chase. There is an obsidian statue here, though, just preventing much of that damage, or healing and recovering much of that damage. All right, the footmen now just still running back around. There is a low hit point footman back over here. We are going to go into an engagement. If you just focus down the water elemental does not have defend. You'll actually be dealing full damage to it, as the footmen are just moving a little bit too slowly, especially compared to that Death Knight, who can wander around in circles at this point. Death Knight now sitting at level 2 finally has Unholy Aura. All the units can back off pretty easily here. Are the footmen going to try and give chase? Not 100% sure, as Militia now joining in on the fight. However, the Militia have to be extremely careful in this fight here. They're going to start fighting back, attempting to take down that obsidian statue. There goes one Militia again, as the Militia is just attempting to disrupt everything here. All right, this could be very bad. The Lich is on the wrong side of this Militia wall. It looks as though the Lich is just going to turn around and walk through the base instead. One low hit point footman, who normally would have something to worry about, doesn't have much to worry about any longer, as the Lich now attempting to get away. All right, there goes the attack. Are we going to see a Frost Nova here on those footmen? Yes, we do. The Death Knight could easily get a Death Coil off onto that Lich, though. There's that Death Coil, saving the hit points again. And this is actually looking very good for WFZ. If WFZ can finish off and perhaps continue to level with these heroes, he'll be in a much better position, as we are still just now getting into keep. plenty of gold, though, for the human player. So the human player should be able to start macroing up a very large-sized army, which is going to be a bit of a problem. All right, Footman now attempting to engage. Crypt Fiends are trying to come back around. Are we going to see defend, though? No, we don't see defend anywhere, as the Footman could just easily fall apart here because of the mass focus fire of all of these Crypt Fiends. All right, all of those Footmen now trying to back away. Another round of Footmen trying to just sneak through. Not going to work at all, and that is just a lot of damage to be had, especially with an Orb of Corruption removing much of the armor on those Footmen. All right, Destroyer is now up in the air. Are we going to see perhaps the Devour magic? And I believe we could have, we saw a Death Coil there, I think, as we're now going into a bit of an engagement. All right, Ghoul, low hit point Ghoul, now back on Blight. Black Citadel, Spirit Towers are being constructed here. There's the Black Citadel getting in some cold damage onto these units. What is happening next as the Ghouls are now just trying to run back here? Meanwhile, the Destroyers are taking down these peasants. Not quite sure why they're even going after that Scout Tower when you should really be going after the Arcane Tower here that has the extra bonus damage. All right, there you go. Arcane Tower going to get taken down very easily now. There it goes, as the Death Knight now just clearing out all of this creep camp. Meanwhile, the Footmen are really pushing forth very strongly, attempting to take down the Spirit Tower. The Spirit Tower looks like it will get taken down here. There it goes. The Goblin Sappers, however, were destroyed before they got into position, as more Spirit Towers now have come into fruition. All of a sudden, this massive amount of piercing damage is going to cause a lot of big problems here, as Acolytes, more and more of them should be trained here. The Footmen are not doing a good job trying to fight here, just way too many towers, and this looks like this is WFZ's game. The main base is pretty much cleared out, nothing being left there. The Destroyers can now just start focusing down onto some of these poor units down over here. There goes one Footman, there goes another. No, Scroll Town Portal all the way back. Here, no, not all the way back. Apparently, Scroll teleporting back to the expansion, as you did not want to just land on top of a Death Knight and a Lich. All right, the Obsidian Statue Obsidian Statue could be replenishing mana and hit points. Just going to be replenishing mana right now. Lich is sitting at level 2. And a very, very slow, drawn-out fight here to try and take down this keep. Mountain King should be popping out at any moment now, and it looks like he'll be able to duck into the darkness. Meanwhile, back off over here, it looks like more Acolytes are going to be trained. And no, this Acolyte just going to place down a Sacrificial Pit and head back to work. Mountain King able to slip away without a problem. Keep now going to get taken down. And when this keep goes down, any economic advantage that Th000 was able to establish is now pretty much all for naught. He now has to deal with a whole bunch of guard towers, wow, excuse me. Okay, I need to pause this for a second. I know you guys can't, yeah, I just did the window. Hold on to me. I hate it when I do that. That's a bit too much. Yeah, you should have seen WarCraft. It was just like a very, very small slither of a window. Okay. That should be it. Yep, 1024 by 768. All right, let's go ahead and head back over here. Water Elemental is clearing out the top left-hand side of the map here. That's going to get cleared out in just a moment. Meanwhile, down over here, Lich now continuing this push with that Death Knight. Now, the question is going to seriously be, how much damage can these Crypt Fiends really hope to do against these guard towers? The guard towers do deal a lot of damage and attack fairly fast. However, the Crypt Fiends do have medium armor as well, making it very, very difficult to take them out. All right, let's take a look at this. The Crypt Fiends already looking to focus fire down one here. Death Knight could try and Death Coil and heal that Crypt Fiend. Looks like it is going to be healing that right there. And meanwhile, the Crypt Fiends are just pummeling away at that guard tower. That guard tower looks like it could fall at any second. And it looks like, wow, that is going to be very, very close. All right, the Lich going very importantly after the Peasants instead, as the Crypt Fiends are continuing this push. Meanwhile, back over here, a lot of towers are in position. Mountain King and Ghouls fighting back around, and I don't even see any repairing going on. Goblin Sapper is able to take down 2 of the ziggurats there. That opens up the base completely, but the pressure is now mounting inside the expansion here. All right, are we going to perhaps see a Scroll of Town Portal? Lich could try to get off a Frost Nova here. No, going after the Blacksmith, which actually absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. But there is now Destroyers in the air to kind of cover what's happening. The Destroyers are going to easily devour magic and attempt to just take down the water elementals. Footmen are getting in position, and you can see that all of those units are just falling apart left and right. Mountain King now arrives to the party. Let's see another Devour Magic come in here as the Footmen are just getting torn apart by these Destroyers. And I think this is just going to be a really, really bad game all of a sudden for Tho. Tho just was not ready for this, as we're now looking at the Blacksmith getting taken down. Archmage now attempting to set up additional ivory towers. That ivory tower is going to help him tremendously try to wall off against any more of these peasants, or sorry, any more of these Crypt Fiends. The Crypt Fiends now trying to push in here. There's a huge Frost Nova taking down some of those units here. Let's take a look. A peasant may get taken down. It looks like the peasant is going to get taken down here. The Lich trying to get off some easy shots. Let's see what's going to be happening next. The Lich just getting in some damage onto the guard tower. The guard tower looks like it will be falling, and the Lich is just absorbing a lot of damage. It has high armor, and it does take reduced damage from piercing. Because of the lack of arcane towers, this is actually looking very, very well. Let's take a look back over here. There's one Destroyer still sitting off over here. Nothing happening in the base of the Undead. And it looks like the straight up play coming in from Tho just not going to work this time around. The Lich is absorbing so much damage. The Death Knight is still there, and the Death Knight now gets up to level 4. There's a Stormbolt onto that Death Knight there, but that Mountain King now really has to run, as we could be getting Devour Magic, yes, from those Destroyers, and that's going to go ahead and take it down. There is the GG, and yes, that is the GG. It looks like the game is over, and Undead taking game number 2 to even up the series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game 2. Please stay tuned for game number 3.